Hey everybody, how's it going? Okay, so it's February 13th. I wanted to come out and make a new video. Just like always, there's a lot going on. Crazy. And I hope everybody's good. Hope everybody's healthy. Hope everybody is maintaining. So we'll just get right into it. Okay, so now the CDC is coming out and saying 2 coverings are better than 1 for protecting yourself. Can I just say that it's hard enough to breathe and to function with 1, let alone with 2. But yep, that's the thing now. And I've seen it. I have seen people walking around with 2. The most I've ever seen was somebody had 3 face masks on. 3 of them. It's crazy. But yep, CDC is recommending that now everybody wear 2. Stay better protected. Right? Yeah. So you guys can go and check that out. This is from USA News. I'm sure you've heard it. It's all over the place. But yep, I just think that that's just so crazy to me. Oh, flashback. Let's do a flashback, because this, and I saw Dr. Fauci coming out saying that 2 are better than 1, right? Let's just go back to this. Back in March of last year. It'll load, sorry. Here he is again. Dr. Fauci claims these don't help provide protection. They only help people feel better. So next time you see somebody out walking in a store or somebody out, in a place that is choosing to not cover their face, just keep this in your mind. Just go back to this, because all it's doing is helping people feel better. It's not misinformation. This is not, this is what's out here. Okay? This is OSHA last year. What's it say? It says doesn't work and violates OSHA oxygen levels. And when we get to this other article down here, I'll explain why. If you look it up now, they're no longer saying this. Now they're on the boat, and we're going to talk about why. I know I mentioned this last time in my not the last one, the video before that, the HR 127 bill. I know I talked about it a little. I told you to go look it up. But it is literally, it will be the end of your Second Amendment rights permanently. Permanently. One of the biggest things that HR 127 would do is that it would create a national firearms registration system that would literally be accessible by anyone. So not only will, the government and everybody else, like the government and the cops and all that know, but all your neighbors will know what you have and where it is in your home. That is not safe. That is totally a violation of your rights. This just can't pass. But go check it out if you have not done so already. And if you have, we have to, it's, I don't know. I don't know if anything can even be done about it, but people need to speak up against it. And I've seen a lot of people doing that online. Let's see what's next. This is from the Washington Examiner from today. CDC director acknowledges hospitals have a monetary incentive to overcount certain deaths. CDC director himself acknowledges, sorry. Okay. Acknowledges hospitals have a monetary incentive to overcount certain deaths. You got me, right? You got me? Oh no, my bad. It was put out. I got it. It was put out August 1st, 2020. Sorry. Read the wrong date. My internet is running so slow. Wonder why that is. Well, this is just ridiculous. Come on. Jeez. Anyway. I mean, it's just crazy the things that are happening today. And it just gets worse every day. Okay. Now, for those of you that are interested, I am not, but for those of you that are, illegal immigrants first, Americans second to get in line for this. Okay? Illegal immigrants first, Americans come second. Earlier this week, we learned that the Biden administration wanted to blank immigrants before American citizens. Now it appears that they want to prioritize illegal immigrants as well. I'm obviously not going to read this whole thing, but if you're interested, I think you'd find this interesting. Okay, so come and check it out. It's on House GOP. It's from February 3rd, 2021. But yes, of course, Americans aren't first under Biden. If we've not seen that and people do not understand that, they soon will. Very, very soon. So keep that in mind. Biden's, this was published January 22nd, 2021. Biden's 10 executive orders that will fully weaponize this against its citizens. All right, let's see. Joe Biden, or more accurately, his controllers, have done more damage in the first day of office than many Democrats have done in years. He has fully weaponized what is happening against the American citizen and our freedoms. These are the 10 ways. Executive order on this, worker safety. Weaponized Department of Labor, OSHA. See, when we were talking about OSHA earlier, they weren't on board. They were against putting those things on your face. But now that Biden has given them this power, they changed their view, didn't they? Weaponized Department of Labor, OSHA, literally word for word what CTH predicted. Number 2, executive order on this, school safety. Weaponized the Department of Education, leverages federal funds and grants, supports the education labor union effort exactly as expected. Number 3, executive order creating blank health equity task force, weaponizing the HHS takeover, the Secretary of Agriculture, the Secretary of Labor, the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, the Secretary of Education, the Administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, again, exactly as predicted. Number 4, executive order using national health crisis as a security threat, weaponizing the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, and the Secretary of Homeland Security. Number 5, executive order taking over the National Guard. The domestic terrorists need a category within the health emergency. The isolation and detainment camps need security, support of operation, or missions to prevent and respond to the spread of certain things. The Secretary of Defense shall, to the maximum extent feasible and consistent with mission requirements, request pursuant to 32 U.S.C. 502 that all state and territorial governors order National Guard forces to perform duty to fulfill mission assignments. Number 6, executive order taking control of travel. The Secretary of Labor, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, HHS, the Secretary of Transportation, including through the Administrator of the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, the Secretary of Homeland Security, and the commandment of the U.S. Coast Guard. I mean, you can go on and read. There's more to read. But, I mean, you have to see how what everybody wanted to say, oh, look what Biden's doing. It's so good. He actually cares. People don't see it for what it really is. People don't see that everything he's doing is going to go against the people. I mean, you gotta see that. Just read this headline. Just look at it. Biden said, I don't know what am I signing? Kamala said, sign it. We're going to play this clip. That was actually pretty hard to hear. Maybe if I hold on. Try to turn it up a little. Yeah, I don't know what I'm signing. She said just sign it. That's what is happening, okay? This is what is going on. He's signing things. He doesn't even know what he's signing. Holy moly. Talk about us being in a problem. This is from the New American. February 2nd, 2021. Biden's lawmaking executive orders are unconstitutional. Okay. Joseph Biden moved into the White House on January 20th. Within his first 2 weeks in office, he issued 30 executive orders dealing with an array of important matters. The result is more law for the American people to endure, despite the fact that such lawmaking is clearly unconstitutional. The U.S. Constitution is very clear about laws being enacted by Congress and a presidential signature, or a congressional two-thirds override of a presidential veto after Congress has voted its approval. No president has been given power. Now, this has been happening. This has happened for how long? How long have presidents been doing executive orders? And the whole time it was unconstitutional. No president has been given power to create law by issuing an executive order. Yet, this completely unconstitutional process has become common, used by many modern-day presidents, whether Democrat or Republican. In a very short time, Biden has distinguished himself as the most prolific and speediest user of assumed unconstitutional power. Okay, we'll just... Bagala knew that the president he served, blah, 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 and numerous predecessor presidents had adopted the use of executive orders when Congress wouldn't go along with something desired by them, or even when the president was in a hurry to demonstrate his wrongfully acquired clout. But actually, no president, it's in the Constitution that no president has the right to make executive orders and pass them as laws. But that is exactly what has been happening. And Biden has done more than any other president in history. If that does not tell you that he is not out for the people and he is actually against the people, I mean, I don't know what would. Biden's blue state clawback. It's not just that the new president wants to resume the trajectory America was on when Barack left office in 2017. He also wants to claw back the gains red states made over blue states in the last 4 years. He wants to shift federal resources to Democratic wait a minute. Okay, wait. Freaking ads. Driving me nuts. Okay. Leave aside for the purpose of this discussion the relative merits of Biden's executive actions. Focus instead on their distributional effects, not on individuals, but on sectors of the economy, on regions of the country, and on the donor basis of the two parties. The image that comes to mind is of swarms of dollars changing course mid-flight, a mass migration of subsidies, spending, and incentives from the GOP coalition to the Democratic one. Start with energy. Biden killed the Keystone XL pipeline at a cost of 1,000 jobs and diplomatic goodwill with Canada. He banned fracking on federal lands and paused oil and gas lease sales in the Arctic National Wildlife Reserve. According to a White House fact sheet, he told federal agencies to accelerate clean energy and transmission projects. He is sure to bestow federal largesse on sons of Solyndra. What else? Okay. Other Biden measures resume the flow of government aid to the special interests behind his campaign. The second Catholic president has jump-started federal funding of Planned Parenthood almost 2 years after former president cut off the nation's largest abortion provider. What just happened? Oh, my God, it scared me. Biden also reversed President Trump's ban on money for sanctuary cities that choose not to enforce federal immigration law. That decision will help boost the budgets of progressive municipalities eager to pass off the cost of illegal immigration. Biden's codification of the Supreme Court's Bostock decision, which made gender identity protected under civil rights law, and is lifting the bans on trans soldiers, is sure to please a class of donors essential to the Democratic Party. He jump-started first of all, the second Catholic federal funding of Planned Parenthood almost 2 years after the former president cut off their money. Why would he do that if he was all for the people, right? But we know, we go back to the last video, this guy has no idea what is in those executive orders or what he's signing. I think he's got a piece of an idea, but I think it's all the people behind him, or the people, that are pulling his strings, that are putting all this in there. You guys can check this out. National Review, Biden's Blue State Clawback. Now, I wanted to share this because a lot of families, I'm sure, are dealing with this. This was done February 11th, Thursday. Life-saving drug insulin skyrockets from $60 to $500 a month under Biden. Let's check this video out. Listen to this mom.
So, I went to the pharmacy to go get Hayden's insulin filled today. And I want to tell you something. Hayden has type 1 diabetes. He goes through a month of this insulin. He goes through a box of this insulin. It's no log. Every single month. Now, there are a lot of people with diabetes who go through multiple boxes of this insulin per month. Because we eat most of the time low carb, he requires less of this. In 2020, when Trump was president, our monthly payment for Hayden's insulin, and insulin is not a negotiable product. It's a product that Hayden will be dependent on for the rest of his life in order to stay alive. It's not rationable, like you can't ration it in order to make it go longer. You guys, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. Not so much for Hayden because we can absorb this cost. Last year under Trump, our insulin payment went to $60 a month for this box.
$60 a month is what they paid.
This is the first time I got this insulin prescription filled since Biden was inaugurated into office. And if you voted him in, I'm a little mad today. I'm a little mad. Because I went to the window of the pharmacy and they said, we set it aside because it's really expensive. Now, I love our pharmacist, but I'm like, what do you want me to do about that? Like, do you want me to say, well, we'll just pass on it for a month? We can't pass on it. We are stuck. We are stuck as a family who doesn't go to the doctor.
There are many parents out there, I'm sure,
we see how the system
that are going
operates.
through
And
the
just
same
as
thing
a
right now.
dentist getting a crown replacement, and the dentist and I were talking about what a screw job insurance is, because we see it as providers, as people who work with insurance companies, as business owners in the healthcare profession. We see what a screw job it is. Do you know how much I paid for this one box of insulin? I paid $328 for this one box of insulin.
From $60 for life-saving insulin, life-maintaining insulin, that you don't have a choice to buy if you need it or your child needs it, went from $60 under Trump to this lady just paid $328 for the same prescription under Biden's laws, under Biden's policies. He's not for the people. Do you get it now? This poor mom, and I'm sure, like I said, a lot of other people are going through that too, but I wanted to show you that because that is so sad to me. Okay, I thought this was crazy. Florida cop fired after hugging coworker despite her fears. So she's obviously one of those that are super afraid, and one of her fellow cops hugged her and got fired for it. Tell me that's not crazy. Fired. Lost his job. Lost his pension because he got fired. Right? For hugging somebody. This is what people have been turned into. It's just so crazy what has happened to everybody. All right, Pittsburgh. Police hand out 5 warnings, 3 notices of violation to Pittsburgh area establishments over orders. State police handed out 5 warnings and 3 notices of violation after visiting Pittsburgh area businesses to make sure they were following restrictions. Across the state from Monday through Thursday, state police liquor control enforcement officers visited 1,064 establishments, issuing 13 notices of violation and 32 warnings. The unannounced compliance checks make sure businesses are following the correct mitigation efforts like mask wearing, social distancing, and limited occupancy. That's so crazy. So crazy. But yep, let's attack these small businesses. Like I said, none of these people went into Walmart and made sure that they were following orders. Nobody went into Target and made sure that they were following orders. But let's go attack these small businesses who are barely hanging on as it is. Now, teachers. There's a lot going on with teachers. Parents are mad at teachers because they want to keep getting paid and they don't want to work. And, parents are sick of it. Parents have had enough. So, yeah, they're attacking the teachers. And teachers are, over there sad and because they are too scared to go back to school. They're too scared to go into school with these kids who, how'd they put it? Let me go down here. Let's see, I'll just read a little bit of this. When this thing hit in the spring of 2020, a teacher in Washington State pivoted from classroom instruction to online teaching. Even though she missed her in-person relationships with her 4th grade students and their families, she made it work. But so much has changed since this started. Last year, teachers were viewed as heroes. Now, many say they are being cast as villains. Teachers who feel nervous about returning to their classrooms are hearing a familiar barrage of complaints and taunts. Get back to work and do your job. For the first time in her decade of teaching, Sarah, who feared she would be fired or harassed if she shared her full name for the story, considered quitting. It's been a roller coaster. It is horrible. Let's see. Even so, many teachers remain uneasy about returning, and many schools across the U.S. are still struggling over whether to resume full in-person instruction or stay virtual. She said she doesn't want to go back without first getting this for herself. She said she had valid reasons for concern. Some of her students travel out of state, and she's unsure whether they quarantine when they return. Children have play dates with their classmates, and it's unclear how safe they are during these gatherings. And some families insist that they don't go along with any of this and refuse to take any precautions at all. So I'm sure everybody has seen that video with that dad who went to the board and flipped out about teachers not wanting to return to work. So I guess that's, you can see both sides of that argument. But it is something that's becoming a problem, and we're seeing more and more of. And I think that I put this up here because one of the major things, actually a lot of major things are happening while all this has been going on. Since this thing started last spring, it hasn't just been the sicknesses, okay, that are, it hasn't just been the sicknesses and the deaths, but it's been what people have to endure during this whole thing. Thousands of Utah kids are going hungry during this. And that's a lot of families. A lot of first-time families are having to go stand in line for food because jobs are gone, because they're out of work, because there's so much craziness going on that people can't afford to eat. You know, businesses are shut down. People can't afford to eat. They're starving. And it's not just Utah, but I just seen this thing, but it's all over the place. And, you know, I think the damage that the restrictions have caused are just as bad as, you know, the actual thing itself. And you see many, many, many more affected people from the fallout sense of this whole thing than is stated, than you're seeing, you know. And that to me is worse. And that's just my opinion. This was crazy. I just saw this. I put this up here because just look at, I mean, if you thought there was a divide between the people and the police before this happened, this whole thing, then the gap that's between right now is something that's never been seen before. Look at this.
Confronted by bounty hunters with guns drawn for a midnight search, the bounty hunters did not have a warrant, so the family is now suing, and they're suing the police as well, who stood by as it happened. It was all caught on camera. Whit Johnson has the story.
This morning, this dramatic home surveillance video at the center of a new lawsuit. Bounty hunters armed with long guns.
These aren't even cops. They're freaking bounty hunters.
New York in the middle of the night. Come on. Jake Reinhardt says he was terrified and confused, emerging from the front door with his hands in the air, shirtless and...
I don't want to play the whole thing, but these people... So the story is they were actually looking for this guy's brother who didn't even live there and was actually not there and was like somewhere else. I think he was actually like out of town, but he didn't live there. And these people did this to them. They walked in, they searched the place, they didn't have a warrant. The guy repeatedly asked him if he had a warrant and he refused to answer. And look at these cops. So these are bounty hunters. These aren't even cops. And these are cops just standing there watching this whole unlawful thing happen. That is not okay. These two officers right here, that is not okay. Just the civil liberties of people and the freedoms that are being trampled on every single day is not okay, and it needs to be stopped. This is ridiculous. But now they're suing, which they have all the right to do, because nobody had a warrant. They had no right to go. They had no right to do what they did. The guy didn't even live there that they were looking for. So I just want to put that out there. Go and check that out, because that's crazy. Oh my gosh, there's just so much, you know. Every day it's just so much nonsense happening. So, yes, I wonder, what kind of future will be left for our children? What kind of future, you know, are they going to have left? Because when all is said and done, and if we all survive Biden's terror, what is going to be left? Everybody should think about that, because every day I see rights and civil liberties and just basic human rights. I see them trampled on every single day. Every single day they are being trampled on more and more and more. More be taken away. And it's so ridiculous. You know, it's funny because I was talking to somebody the other day, and, you know, we were talking about Biden letting in, you know, 9 million illegal immigrants when jobs are already bad as they are here. But he's letting in more, and, you know, the person said to me, it was Chad's grandma, actually, who I was talking to. And she's like, you know, what do they all want to come over here for anyway? And I said, because they're all looking for the dollar and a dream. America's great, America's free, you can do anything you want. Well, listen, that dream is gone. That dream is over. That doesn't exist anymore. So they're coming over here thinking they're going to find something great, and they're not, you know. So I don't know. I wanted to put this out and share some of this stuff that I found interesting with you guys. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And please, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up. Please share it. We need to get the word out there as much as we can. So yeah, like it, share it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you got that, someone in your life that you're trying to, that is on the edge, that doesn't know which way to go with this, try to share these videos, with those kind of people, because I do believe that it only takes one thing to get them to it only takes one thing, and if they can find that one thing and understand it and say, okay, it makes sense, then that person's on the better road. So I'm going to end this here, but please be strong, stay healthy, stay strong, stay safe, and stay vigilant.